Hello, my name is Ben Lee, and today we're going to look at how to create a TSE basic configuration. It's a best practice to have a completely functioning system before beginning programming of the TSEs in TSEDesigner. To begin in TSEDesigner, first we'll need to export a virtual items file from Device Editor or iCanSoft. So in Device Editor, we'll go out to File, Export, and then select Virtual Items File. The software is then going to ask us to input a name and select the location for it to be saved. Now that a virtual items file has been created, we can open TSEDesigner and import the file. First, we'll create a master configuration for the TSI1. This file needs to contain all the areas that each TSE will control. If a TSE controls all the same areas as the TSI1, only a master configuration is needed. If a TSE is to control one or a few of the areas, a unique configuration will need to be written for that screen. It may be necessary to write a configuration for each TSE. The TSEDesigner software communicates on port 51001, so it cannot be blocked. It may be necessary to disable Windows Firewall and add an exemption for the software in the firewall. When we open TSEDesigner, the first thing that we're going to do is select Create from Virtual Items File. Then we'll select Create Project. This will open up a Windows Explorer and will browse to the location of the virtual items file we created earlier. Then we'll select Open. We'll then be taken to the Import Wizard. We're going to want to place a check mark next to each of the areas to be controlled by the TSI1. Only include areas to be controlled by the TSEs. We'll then set the appropriate size of the screen. If we have TSE 80s and 50s, it's recommended to just choose TSE 80. We'll then select the graphic style, blue or black. Then input the IP address of the TSI1. We'll give this project a password. Typically, we'll use the same password as the TSI1. So Cooper123$ with a capital C. Then we'll input the TSI1's password. And as a note, the default passcode to get to the engineering screen at the TSE is 4321. When we've highlighted an area, we can choose to exclude the raise and lower buttons, as well as exclude the scene edit button. Finally, we'll select Create Project once we've entered in all of our settings. TSEDesigner will then ask us to input a name for this file, and then we'll select Save. Now we'll select Upload to Processor. This will load the configuration to the TSI1. It should be noted that your computer needs to be on the same network and within the same subnet as the TSE in order for this to work. We'll then get the Upload to Processor screen, and we're going to want to make sure and place a check mark next to Enable TSI Web Server. If we're going to be using ASCII over IP, or we've already configured that within the TSI1, we'll want to go and select iLight and make sure that Enable ASCII Command TCP Server is selected. We'll then select Upload to Processor. You should get a progress bar at the bottom of the screen, and once it completes, you should get a message saying Project Uploaded OK. Then we'll go ahead and select OK. Now that the TSI1 has a master configuration loaded, if needed, create a new file for each TSE with just the areas that touchscreen is to control. It's a best practice to save the TSI1 file along with all the TSE files in the same folder. Follow the previous steps to create a file for each touchscreen that is needed. Remember in the wizard to set the appropriate project size for the screen in the area, whether it's a TSE 55 or a TSE 80. When you have completed creating these files, they will need to be loaded or published one at a time. After the above steps are complete, open the TSEDesigner and browse to the first touchscreen to publish. Now we'll open TSEDesigner and select Open Existing or Recent Project. And we're going to open the TSE configuration that we want to load to our first screen. So I'm going to select the file and select Open. We'll then choose Publish to Screen. The transfer screen will open, and we want to leave this screen up while we load the configuration. You're going to want to make note of the project location, name, and password. These items will need to be entered in manually at the TSE, along with a unique IP address. So now we'll go to the first TSE that we want to load this configuration to and ensure it is powered. It should look like this. At the touchscreen, we're going to want to select Project Setup and then select Project Location. And we want to type in the location exactly as shown on the transfer screen. Then we'll want to input the project password and project name. We also want to ensure that Reload Next Time and Reload Images are both checked. Then scroll down the page and select Save and Back. Then we're going to select Network Setup and input a unique IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. And in order for the device to take a static IP, DHCP enabled must be unchecked. Then select Save and Back. Select Save and Load, and the TSE should now look something like this. You're going to want to select each of the areas and ensure that the scenes and channels function as expected. If we're happy with the functionality, next we'll select the sprocket and then select Engineering. The screen will ask for the engineering code, which is 4321 by default, and then we'll select Enter. From the main page, select Project Setup and ensure that Reload Next Time and Reload Images is unchecked, so the screen will no longer try to get its configuration. Scroll down the page, select Save and Back, and select Save and Load. The TSE should now load its configuration. For additional touchscreens, open the TSEDesigner configuration for each TSE, follow the above mentioned steps for each screen, and then repeat until all TSEs are configured and functioning. I hope this video was informative, and thanks for watching.